Have you ever thought about what emotions the word trust evokes within you? How do you feel when a salesperson approaches you and says, "Trust me and buy my product or service"? Believe me, I really know how you feel. You feel pushed, you feel coerced, and in many cases, even manipulated into buying a product or service you don't really need. Trust is the single most important factor determining sales success. And yet, many of us struggle with establishing trust because we feel it's too abstract a concept, too difficult to establish trust with a prospect whom we don't know. There are certain things I've learned which have proved useful over the last 3 decades I've been in selling, and I'm sure you'll find them useful too. The first of these is to look and dress the part. Have you observed how bankers dress? They're always formally dressed. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go around in a suit and tie all the time, but it is important to dress professionally and look the part, whether you're in a virtual or in a face to face meeting. The second is the smile. Obviously, when you smile, you look more approachable, and the customer is likely to trust and like you more. Smiling increases the willingness to trust by over 10%. The third is the body language. All of us know that the body language and tone make up for over 93% of effective communication, and the words only convey about 7% of the message. So, positive, open body language, no nervous or defensive gestures like scratching your nose or scratching your hair or crossing your arms. Your body language, again, goes a long way in determining whether the customer can like and trust you. The fourth is eye contact. I'm not saying here that you need to stare creepily at the customer all the time, but it is important that you maintain eye contact confidently for at least 70 to 80% of the time that you're conversing with the customer. Have you observed shifty eyed people? They look here, they look there. During this video, if I were to look all around except at you through the camera, would you trust me? And the final thing I've learned about establishing trust is to be the biggest cheerleader or ambassador for your product, which means that we need to use our products and services and then talk about the fantastic experience we've had with our customers or prospects. For example, if you're a car salesperson and you talk about how you drove the car which you're trying to sell and what a fantastic experience it was, how much the mileage was, that it is the best in its class, and that you were able to drive a distance of 300 kilometers in less than 3.5 hours, and talk about the sheer driving pleasure and the experience, the customer is more likely to trust your word for it. In case you haven't used the product, no worries. You should talk about customers or prospects who've used the product and their experience. And rather than talking about the product or service itself, talk more about the impact the product had in the customers' lives. What difference did it make to their lives? How did they feel? What was their experience? And how did their lives change after using your product or service? Well, I've shared all that I know. Now, all you've got to do is go out there and sell. And trust me, this will work.